The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
Well, maybe you should have thought of that before filing for divorce, you brain clot. Well, maybe that's asking a little too much of you. You're a modern wife living in the modern West, and thinking about the consequences of your action is a lot like expecting you to make a bowl of cereal and not expecting the basement to flood because of your culinary ineptitude. But I guess I'm a little confused here. What exactly were you expecting from all of this? You ended the marriage, throwing away years of hard work. You're kicking a man out of his home and claiming a chunk of his assets, not to mention destroying him emotionally in the process. Did you honestly expect him to be cool with everything and to keep in regular contact with you after it was all said and done? Don't tell me you actually thought this divorce would end with a high five as the two of you speed off into the sunset while the stereo blasts Any Way You Want It by Journey. No, you effectively cut ties with this man after you filed for divorce. So you can't be shocked when he decides to move on with his life and stop talking to you. You brought all of that on yourself, sister.
So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
Nice try.
Okay, so according to that caption, she found out that he moved on with another woman after the divorce was finalized. So that would explain why she's so weepy. But I'm also willing to bet that she didn't get nearly as much in alimony as she was hoping, and because internet sympathy is the only thing she has left in the world, she can't give that up by being honest. If she was getting more alimony and she had a young dude ready to plow her in her ex-husband's bed, then you know she wouldn't be thinking about her ex-husband at all. She only loves him because she realized the consequences of needlessly filing for divorce, and she can't bring herself to say that she was a victim in all of this, and that's because she knows, just as much as we all know, that the divorce was completely pointless and done for blatantly selfish reasons. And when you play the game of stupid divorce, you can expect to win some stupid prizes. And in your case, it's coming in the form of internet pity and the knowledge that it didn't take your ex very long to upgrade to a better woman. Thanks for playing, lady. I would say better luck next time, but come on. We both know there is never going to be a next time.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
So I'm probably gonna get shit for this video, but honestly, I don't care. I'm gonna make it anyway. I wanna talk about guys that reject hot chicks and then slum. Meaning you dated a hot girl and then decided that hot girl was not for you and are now dating a girl that is not nearly as hot. Obviously, there can be a lot of factors as to why you reject a hot girl. This is just a very broad generalization, but I'm gonna say it. I think the main reason that men reject hot women is because they don't wanna have to work that hard. I mean, I think it's no secret that hot chicks tend to have higher expectations and higher standards than maybe less attractive women.
Really?
Hang on a second. I thought we lived in an era where every single woman was a 10 and every single man that was below a 9 was a spawn of Satan. So let's go ahead and unpack this and see what's going on here. So by saying that men go after less attractive women, it dictates that not all women are 10s. And second, the only kind of men that count in your book are men who don't belong to the illustrious bottom 95% club. And that's because the insanely attractive women you're talking about wouldn't be caught dead with a man who isn't Chad. So effectively, you're saying that Chad is projecting you and are going after women who are nicer than you. So therefore, you deem them as unattractive, which, as we all know, is the best possible burn that you can think of because your brains have been rotted thanks to years of chemical skin treatments in the form of the 2 pounds of makeup that you shellac on your face on a daily basis. Now that we've established this accurate translation, you may enlighten us, oh jaded one.
I know how that sounds. It sounds really bad, but I think it's because, again, hot chicks are just used to being treated a certain way. So I do think oftentimes when attractive men meet attractive women, they're almost like, crap, I'm actually gonna have to put in a lot of work here. Whereas girls that are less attractive just don't require that much work. To be clear, I think that you guys should be putting in work for whoever you are dating, no matter what they look like. But I think that girls that are less attractive, I mean, they're gonna be more likely to just accept you for how you are. They're gonna appreciate you more. They're going to demand less. They're gonna make you feel better about yourself.
And that's an interesting thing about mathematics, is when you're 50% right, you're 100% wrong.
It's not that high maintenance women require a lot of work. It's that they require too much work for zero payoff. That man will be expected to do all of the legwork when it comes to a relationship. He will be expected to spend lots of money on dates, hair care treatments, rent, vacations, and other crap, and in return, she will complain and do next to nothing. She can't cook, won't clean, and her back rub game is amateur on her best possible day. Meanwhile, a woman of lower maintenance may require some work, but there is a higher chance that she will actually reciprocate. She will make that man feel appreciated, wanted, and at peace. And a man will move mountains if he wants to make a relationship work. And the low maintenance woman is more likely to put in the work as well because, generally speaking, she appreciates that man and wants to make things work. The high maintenance woman will just take the man for granted and then think all she has to do to make things work is to spend his money and wear shoes that can't possibly be comfortable.
Again, obviously, I'm sure that it's like you could break up with a hot chick because she's just an asshole. But if that were really the case, then why wouldn't you date another hot girl afterwards? And yes, I understand that obviously other things than looks are more important, and you could have matured and realized like, hey, I actually want to date somebody that I have shit in common with and makes me laugh, and that's smart and cool and not just hot. But there are hot girls that have good personalities and that are smart and cool and you have things in common with too. They're just higher maintenance. I get it, you're gonna call me shallow and all of that, but I'm just calling it like I see it. Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me for more tips.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
Wait a second, I think I know what's going on here. You think that you're a hot girl. Oh my God. It all makes sense now. Your ex broke up with you after you were being too demanding and left you for a woman that you think is unattractive. But lady, it doesn't matter what you think. All that matters is whether or not the man finds the woman attractive. You don't get to determine that. Now, I get it. The man you wanted no longer wanted you because you weren't hot, but you were still high maintenance. And movies convinced you that you're this beautiful flower with a deep soul that any man would be lucky to have. But here's a question for you, sister. If any man would be lucky to have you, then why don't you have a man? It's not like there's a shortage of them out there. There's no need to answer that question either, woman. We already know the answer, and no, it's not because you're too hot for average men. Trust me on that, sister. You're really not.
You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle!
Holy moly, a warning to all the guys out there who call themselves passport bros. Let me share a true story with you. I am currently working with a male client in his 50s. He went to a South American country and found himself who he thought was going to be the perfect traditional woman, 20 years younger. Woo! So it happens. She love bombs him. She treats him like her king, her papi. And she's cooking for him and cleaning for him, and it's romance, and the sex is amazing. And this man is like everything he wanted in a woman. She was it. Until he brought her back to the States, got her green card. She moved into his beautiful, beautiful condo and thought she can run game, dumped him, and met a multimillionaire and broke his heart. The end.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Lady, that's not a passport bro. That's an idiot. A straight up moronic guy who was thinking with the wrong head. passport bros don't go to other countries to find women to bring them back to the West. And that's because it was the West that corrupted the women. It doesn't matter if the woman is a schemer, a gold digger, or a legitimate traditional woman. If you bring her back to America, it's only a matter of time before that marriage goes down in flames. That's why passport bros are looking for women with the intention of staying in that woman's home country. Most passport bros are sick of the US because of the toxic nature of feminism, the hyper-politicization of every aspect of Western life, and the obscene cost of living. Moving abroad helps to mitigate those things. It's not just about the women. Now, I'm not advocating for becoming a passport bro. It's your life. You live it how you choose. But if you're going abroad to find a wife, the dumbest thing you could do is get her a green card. Because at that point, it's legitimately safer to play hacky sack with a grenade after removing the pin.
You know that. Of course I do, sir. Everybody knows that. Of course we do, sir.
Most women will stay broke because of these 4 qualities. And I grew up middle class and I didn't know any of this until probably my early 20s. As women, we are raised to be good girls, right? So in society, we have to fit in and we can't be too much, otherwise that's bad. We can't bring too much attention to us, and how this works with money is if you work a job, you're afraid to ask for a raise, and if you own a business, you're afraid to actually charge your worth and you underprice yourself.
What?
You know, I had this whole demonstration prepared with graphs and charts and memes of men punching kangaroos, but when it was all said and done, I just couldn't do it. Lady, you do realize that your voice is broken, right? Every single sentence you say ends with an It's awfully distracting and it does nothing to make you look serious. Now, we already know most women are broke, and it's not because they're nice. It's because modern women are emotional spenders. Modern women will buy all sorts of luxury items they can't afford with a credit card they shouldn't be using in exchange for a few hits of fleeting dopamine. They will spend $300 on a pair of shoes, wear them once, and then let them collect dust in their overfilled closets. And that's because modern women have been encouraged to indulge in their impulsivity, and they were told to celebrate hedonism and that any form of restraint is either tied to sexism, the patriarchy, or fat phobia, depending on whether or not it's Tuesday. But none of that freaking matters when you end every single one of your sentences like a whiny child. Learn to speak properly, woman.
I'm in my masculine energy a lot because I run a multi-6-figure business, so I'm always selling, coaching my clients, and I have to stay very organized, which is actually really helpful in order to bring money. So if you're unorganized and you have a structure to actually build wealth, well, no wonder you're not making money right now. This goes hand in hand with people pleasing, but where it takes a really bad turn with is when you don't have boundaries and you can't set firm boundaries. So for an example, if your friends want to go out and they pressure you to go out, but instead you would much rather stay at home and work on your business, if you don't have that boundary, you're gonna go out instead of building wealth in the business that you want to be creating. Are you gonna stand your ground or be easily persuaded?
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
Okay, I counted like 2 sentences where she didn't do the thing, which just begs the question, woman, does your multi-6-figure business deal with clients? I mean, what the hell is a multi-6-figure business? And if that's the case, do you talk that way with your clients? And if your clients hear that, can they take you seriously? Because I know I can't. I could barely hear you over that annoying voice thing that you do. I don't know if it's cultural, regional, or just plain childish laziness, but it's awfully distracting from your point, and I would take some of that multi-6 figures and invest it in a speech therapist so you can sound professional. Now, I do agree that people pleasing is a bad thing, but with a modern woman, if she doesn't want to go out but does anyway, it's not because she wants to focus on her business of getting a real estate license. It's the fear of missing out on either having a good time or finding her true love so she doesn't have to worry about starting a business anymore, which boils back down to hedonism and emotions over discipline and logic. 2 things that modern women lack in spades. Kind of like how you lack a speech pattern that doesn't make me want to put my head through a wall. Seriously, woman, please, for all of us, work on that.
A wealthy woman knows what she wants and she will do everything in her power to attract it to her. So Even if you take hours to decide what you want to eat for dinner, you are not making it easy to actually bring wealth into your life. Imagine trying to build a real life with wealth, like investing your money, building a business. You need to be so decisive, otherwise time is just gonna pass you by. Literally just decisions all the time. Let me know if you want a part 2 of the traits of a wealthy woman.
No.
Woman, now you're just demanding the impossible. A modern woman choosing what she wants for dinner is just about as likely as a modern woman realizing that banging Chad won't get her anywhere in life. It's just not happening. Now, I do agree, people need to be more careful with their money. They need to invest, diversify, and put in the time and effort to accumulate some wealth, but we're also living in an economy that makes it painfully difficult to save unless you have multiple sources of income. And if there's one thing that the modern woman hates worse than being broke, it's working so she doesn't have to be broke anymore. So most modern women will just hope they marry rich and then divorce rich. Even though men have gotten wise to this scheme and aren't that quick to get married anymore, just so much as they aren't willing to take a woman seriously who sounds like she's a whiny Gen X California girl with zero life experience and virtually nothing to say. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, maybe share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.